Hello. All right. So today I'll be talking about M2 to M3 migration. This is something I had to look into recently because I needed to like do some migration from M2 to M3, right? And it's been a while since I used Helm. Well, when I mean a while, couple of months, right? So I decided to give her a spin. So I spinned up kind cluster on my local system and install Helm 2, right? Also M3, which I kind of like designate as M2 and M3. Now, using M2, I install my SQL Helm chart, and you can see the release here, right? Yeah. And for the migration, the first thing you have to do, of course, you have to install there's this plugin, Helm 2 to Helm 3 plugin that you can use. That plugin pretty much handles most of the things for you. Now, the first thing you have to do is just, move the backend, the configuration, right? In this case, I'm doing a dry run to know what is going to be moved. As you can see here, my Helm configuration is going to be moved here, blah, blah, blah. So things are going to get moved around. You can see that here, which is not really a problem, right? And also, once you go ahead and apply it without the dry run, your configuration is going to be moved. Progress. All right. Now you can confirm by checking your repo list, right? Your repo list is also going to be moved. Blah, blah, blah. Because before your repo list, lives right here. So you get moved to this location. All right, then now the next thing is just to convert each of your releases into M3, right? So um I did a dry run on my release, right? I'm telling the plugin to convert the user MySQL release in namespace and Tila, convert it into M3, right? With a dry run. I did a dry run the first time, then everything looks good. This is just a demo. So then I went ahead and migrated, right? And I ran Elm LS, and the migration shows that my release has been migrated. If I had done this before this migration, this is going to be empty. Now, all right, so now somebody might ask me, okay, good, it's been migrated. What about the information about this release that still exists in Helm 2 data? So what you need to do in that case is to do like a cleanup, right? So I ran the cleanup command, right, which is going to kind of remove the Helm 2 information from your cluster, right, from your cluster tiller. Now, I made a mistake in the sense that I ran cleanup for the entire cluster. So what this is, you have to be very careful with this because this is going to delete information for all your M2 installation, your cluster. So you need to make sure you don't forget to use this command dash dash name so that the cleanup only applies to the specified release that has been migrated, right? So in this case, it only applies to user MySQL release that has been migrated, right? So because if you don't do that, it's going to do a cleanup for everything. Everything. Once you click on this, everything. Okay. So that's it. So let's say you go for an interview and they tell you, have you done this migration before? No. Yeah. The best way to learn this stuff is just to spin up a kind cluster and just take it for a spin run yourself. And from that, you'll be able to tell, a couple of steps. But remember, don't forget to include the name because it's going to be terrible if you don't put the name because it's going to wipe your M2 release data clean. So, and yeah, that's it. You stop this.